Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Bourky Cabinet featuring AJ and
Jessica.
Today we're gonna have another 1792. So if you paid attention to our last videos, we talked about there's several different ones. So this one is the foolproof one, but there's a little bit of extra to go with it, and I'll have her explain it.
Yes, so this foolproof here is actually really exciting. It is a store pick, single barrel, which is just typically always super nice. I mean, granted, they're single barrel, so they're hit or miss. But this one is a single barrel collaboration between Liquor Barn and the Bourbon Life podcast with Mark and... I feel so bad because I don't remember his host's name, but I absolutely adore Mark. Mark is somebody who I've known for multiple years now. I typically try to purchase things that, he ends up picking. This is the first video of one of his picks that I actually get to do. So I'm really excited about showing you guys how amazing this is. Whenever I first tasted, so much funny, whenever I first tasted 1792's Foolproof, and this was back in my beginning bourbon drinking stages, I felt like if you stuck a lighter in front of my mouth, I would blow fire. Now, naturally, because I'm so experienced, that is not the case. But it's just so funny to think about the first time I tried this. It was like, oh my God, there's so much heat. I can't handle it. And now it's like, oh, wow, delicious. And that's about the differences that, I have overcome over the past several years, because that's 4 years difference in time. But yes, I love Mark to death. Shout out to the Bourbon Podcast. If you watch any podcasts at all, you should definitely check his out. Last time I checked, it was actually ranked number 2 with Apple or iTunes or whatever you kids call it these days. iTunes, is that a thing?
Well, iTunes
still?
is Apple.
iTunes is just music, though, isn't it?
Yeah, iTunes more music oriented. Well,
whatever their podcast little thingy is, he is ranked number 2 in the world for the bourbon, and I think even for a small portion of time they're number 1 in food and beverage. So definitely check him and his guy out, and I'm really sorry I can't remember your name. But I've only ever met you once, in my opinion. But Mark, I've known for 4 years, and he does a great job. It's funny watching people go, throughout their bourbon life of knowing close to nothing and then knowing everything, and I'm beating you in knowledge. So it's really fun and eventful, and I'm really excited to try this one. Side note, I secretly have already tried this one, but I'm excited to try this one with you guys, and I'm excited for him to try it. So
you already tried this?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I thought this was new to you.
No, whenever we released it, I instantaneously grabbed a bottle for my tasting cabinet, naturally. And I opened it up, and I shit you not, we sold out of this bottle within 24 hours.
But you didn't tell me.
And then I got a second bottle for the cabinet. And it sold out again in 24 hours. And I got this bottle for ourselves.
So you basically had this bottle twice.
Yeah, I had to make sure that the first bottle tasted like the second bottle. This is the third bottle, so we're going to find out that it tastes the same. Let me tell you what, from what I remember, this was literally the best foolproof I'd ever had from them. And I would like to make sure that this is actually what I remember. Well,
it smells like alcohol rub, so.
It does not.
Well, what does it smell like there, genius?
You get caramel. You get some wheat. Get that alcohol rub. No.
I told you. I told you.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I will say I do get, I don't know as much caramel. Yeah, we went over this already. Caramel. But I will say I do smell, I guess it is some weed.
Yeah, it's that sweeter note that you get.
Yeah.
That's not really like a sweet, but it's kind of sweet. Yeah, that's the wheat.
Okay. Yeah, because it is like a flowery-ish almost kind of smell.
So initially, I get almost like a tobacco note out of it, and then it goes into that wheat, which plays differently on my nose, which is really nice. And I feel like that the tobacco note is that almost floral aspect that you're getting.
Okay, yeah.
And then the sweeter aspect that you're getting is that wheat.
Okay.
Tobacco, granted, tobacco does not always smell floral. It's more like a woody, slightly grain, and slightly floral smell. So like it's kind of all over the place, and sometimes it's more potent than others. I mean, that's the difference between a cigarette tobacco, pipe tobacco, and cigar tobacco. You know what I'm saying? So like there's a lot of different tobaccos out there too. From Kentucky. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I even get a little bit of cherry. Do you get a little cherry?
If it was like a cherry that's like been sitting in something for a little bit, then yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, so
it takes a minute. It's like on the like when I'm pulling away and after my nose is done like smelling it, I'm like processing the cherry.
Almost like one of those sweet maraschino cherries that's been sitting in your drink for a while.
There you go.
Yeah,
it definitely has like that on like at the tip of it for sure.
It smells absolutely phenomenal. And because I hadn't said this before, the proofage on this is 125 proof. So it's definitely high proofage there.
And I'm pretty sure the regular is like 90.
92.
92 proof. And this is 120.
Pretty positive it's 92. Their small batch, which is their regular.
Well, I don't remember what we said in the last video, but we mentioned it. So I'll put a link to it at the end. So that way, you guys already know.
Alright, ready?
Guess it's ready to the library.
Exciting.
I like it better than the regular. There's a lot more
depth
with this. And now I'm feeling that hug. Kentucky is hugging the shit out of me right now. I feel it. So also, not only do I feel it in like the heat and in the assertiveness that it tries to give you.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm glad I didn't turn my face because I probably would have got knocked out. But I do taste some barrel that's in there. I do taste a little bit of that wheat as well. Let's see, barrel, wheat. There's something else I'm missing here that I know I'm tasting, but I don't know what. You can probably help me.
It's so good. So for
very
me,
strong, very, very strong for sure. I was not expecting it to hit though this way. The regular 1792 does not hit like this.
So do you see why whenever I first started drinking bourbon, not first started drinking bourbon, but whenever I actually started expanding my palate, why this one punched me in the face at first?
Yeah, absolutely. This is nothing like this regular 1792 small batch. Like I'm gonna post a video for it. This is definitely stronger. You will definitely feel this.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna hit you. But I like to think that each aspect of the sipping process takes you on a different journey. So when I first take a sip and it's sitting in my mouth, I get baking spices. And then whenever I go to swallow, I start getting a little bit of cherry. And then once it's at the back of my throat, I get tobacco. And then after I take the shot, it's or the drink, it turns into, you just get that nice barrel flavor, and it's not overpowering because you can tell that it's not a high char. Like, it's not one of those super woody ones that make you like, but with the wood, but it's like, oh yeah, you know, like that's just exactly what you want from a good single barrel. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I think this is one of the best that we've ever tasted on this show, which we'll get to in our ratings. But it's absolutely phenomenal. Like, ratings?
I would say I'd probably give this an 8. It's really good. It's a lot higher of a proofage than what I'm used to, especially for the regular 1792 small batch. But it's not like it's overbearing on the heat and like the barrel taste and stuff like that. So it's like it's just enough to where it's like, nah, I'm good.
Well,
like, you're gonna enjoy this.
Packs way more flavor than the small batch does too.
Way more flavor for sure.
I mean, it definitely influences a lot more than what you get actually out of the small batch. And for you to claim it as an 8 is actually very high, because what your lowest new riff is an 8. Even though it should be lower, but yes. So that's high remarks for you. So that's nice.
That's rude.
For me personally, hands down, this is one of the best full proofs that I've ever had from 1792. Actually, it is the best full proof I've ever had from 1792. I can actually say that. Mark and them did a absolutely phenomenal job, and I'm sorry I keep mentioning Mark and the Bourbon Life podcast, but aside from them, like, you know, I have to give a shout out to Brad from Liquor Barn for likewise conjoining this event. None of it would have happened if it wasn't for him, so that's awesome. I personally would give this a 9.25. Which is the highest one I've ever done. Like, this thing is absolutely phenomenal. It gives you all the flavor profile that you want, and it's not excessive. It doesn't make you feel like you have to take a drink afterwards. It's just an absolutely wonderful, easy sipper. I feel like if I was to add a drop of water to this, that I would just help it open up and mellow out a lot more. So yeah, it's just phenomenal. It's really, 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 really good. Props. Props, guys. Props.
It is very good for what it is, because, you know, the regular 1792, I mean, at least pre-COVID, you was able to find it fairly easy at most liquor stores and whatnot. With the full proof, it is harder to find, but then when you're talking about a store pick, and it's not just a store pick, we're talking like it's 2 different people / companies, I guess, that's collabing on picking something. Like, yeah, you won't find nothing like this. So yeah, this one specifically is just gonna be different. We'll have to get a regular full proof and let you all know about it, but
yeah,
for
just
this
to
store
explain
pick,
the differences.
yeah, but for this store pick though,
yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. They did such a phenomenal job. I honestly am to the point, like, I don't care what your secondary market is, just about, like, it's worth it for this bottle. Like, if you come across this bottle for $150, throw down on it. Because I actually believe this one to be $150 worth.
not for me.
I'm wholeheartedly against spending that much on a bourbon, period, but I would say out of bourbons that I've had, because like even just recently I've had a couple of bourbons that were $200+ and a bottle, and they were trash, especially compared to this. So I would actually pay $150 for this. But anyways, let's take it as a shot and see how it goes that way. But yeah, let's take it as a shot and see how this goes.
I got a small butt. How small this booty is.
Which is funny because we really wanted to compare, you should be taking this shot glass and I should be taking that one.
You gonna say I have a fat ass?
Yeah, and I got the small one. As a shot though, it's still super lovely. You don't get all the complexity that you get from sipping it. But it is, I mean, it still tastes absolutely wonderful. This is definitely one that you would have to be careful on and watch yourself, especially if you were taking shots, because that proofage will hit you quick.
Like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, and it does not taste like, what did we say earlier, 135?
No, like 128.
125. We were both wrong.
I was closer.
But whatever, it's 10 off. It doesn't matter. But I mean, for 125 proof, like really, like taking it in a shot, like it tastes like it's like 90 proof. And as a mixed drink, I'd say like 1 to 110 maybe max. But yeah, go ahead with your shot analysis.
I mean, I disagree. I feel like the shot, yeah, it wasn't, for me, the shot wasn't as good as the sipping on it. So I'd give the shot like a 7, but it's still good. I would say it still probably hits more closer to like 100 proof than a 90.
True.
But it doesn't seem, as a shot, it doesn't seem like it's the 125 proof that it actually is, unless you're sipping on it.
Did I actually give a rating?
Like
a number for
Not for
the
shot. Not for the shot. You only gave the 9.25 for the...
When you gave a number, I was like, wait a second, did I even do that?
So I gave it a 7 for the shot. What would you give it for the shot?
What'd you give it for the tasting?
An 8.
Yeah, see, okay. Which is funny, because like for the tasting, I give it that 9.25 that I had mentioned. But for the shot, I would honestly probably be likewise and give it a 7. Because you don't get that well-around, flavorful aspect as you do with sipping it. I mean, it's still good as a shot, don't get me wrong, but it's like you don't get the depth with it. And that's the thing. And this is one that you actually want to taste that depth. So this is definitely a sipper. Now, we've had several in the past, as you all have known, that are just way better at shots than sipping it. But this one, nah, sipping all the way. Like, shout out to them. They did so great. They did a great job. This was a great pick. I remember talking to Mark about this pick, and Mark said that whenever they first tried it, that they actually didn't like it. He didn't like it.
That's strange.
And it's funny, actually, that he didn't like it. And then they ended up choosing it because everyone else chose against him. Or something like that. And then he tried it again after I opened a bottle at my store for the tasting cabinet. And whenever he tried it again, he was like, wow, this is so much better than I remember. And ended up loving it a lot more. So, I mean, you know, it just goes to show that you really never know what kind of barrel you're actually getting. And it's just a matter of you really need to sit there and critique what's going on and not, like, feel rushed in the whole process. But yeah, it's an absolutely phenomenal full store pick, and everybody should, I mean, if you have an opportunity to buy this, definitely do so. And other than that, I hope we get a regular ass foolproof here soon. Run of the mill foolproof, you know, like not a store pick. So we can try that and let you guys know how it is. But for the here and now, this is the one we got, and it is absolutely stupendous.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Bourky Cabinet. On the next episode, we still got new bourbons. I think we have about 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10. I have no idea. It's going to keep growing no matter what.
I think there's 11, but yeah.
Whatever. Either way, that number is not going to go down. It's only going to go up. So, On the next episode too, though, we're gonna have some new glasses or hardware, whatever you want to call it. Either way, it's gonna be nice.
Yeah, nice.
Somebody's not too happy about it, but you'll see that on the next episode. And until then,
Ciao, matane.